What's going on, everybody? I'm Matt Dimech.
I'm Charlie Joiner.
And these are our fantasy football stardom sit-em picks for Week 7. For my first stardom pick, I'm going to be taking Tyreek Hill. He's had a disappointing start to the season. The injury of Tua Tagovailoa has thrown off everything in Miami. Tyreek Hill's coming off of his best performance of the season since Tua's injury. He had 12.9 fantasy points off of 10 targets. This is the best performance we've seen out of him, like I said, since Tua went down. And the Dolphins are coming out of a bye week this week, which I think is the perfect opportunity to get Tyreek Hill back into your lineups. I think it's going to give him some time to settle down, really be able to take a step back and figure out what they want to do going forward until the potential return of Tua Tagovailoa. They've had to sort of scramble to throw something together ever since losing him. And right now, they're going up against Indianapolis, who have given up the 6th most passing yards in the NFL. And this should be a serviceable wide receiver 2 option for owners this week.
I tell you why, I really like that pick. My first start is actually none other than Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard rushed 17 times for 93 yards and a touchdown versus the loss to the Colts last week. In that game, Will Levis had a very bad game, throwing for under 100 yards. The Bills defense, who they play this week, have allowed RBs to secure 8+ receptions in 3 out of the first 4 weeks. I think Tony Pollard's going to have a phenomenal week. I think he should start in your lineup this week.
For my second stardom pick, I'm going to be taking Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard has burst onto the scene this fantasy season. In the past 4 games, he's yet to finish below 15 points. He's also received 13 carries and 4 receptions in every game during that stretch. His recent performance found him as the number 5 ranked running back in fantasy football. This week they take on Washington, who were just torn apart by Derrick Henry, giving up 130 yards and 2 touchdowns to him last week. On the season, Washington has allowed the 10th most rushing yards in the NFL and has consistently allowed big games from opponents' running back ones. I expect Hubbard to continue his success that he's found this season.
My second start's going to be short and sweet. It's going to be Amari Cooper. None of the stats that I could have found this year would be applicable because he's on a new team. New team went from the Browns to the Bills. I think Josh Allen's going to be a massive step up from Deshaun Watson. I think he's going to have a phenomenal first week and step into that Stephon Diggs role and have a good week.
And so for my first sit-em pick, I'm going to be taking George Pickens. George Pickens has been the wide receiver 1 on a Pittsburgh offense that has only scored more than 20 points once this season. Sauce Gardner is sure to give Pickens a tough time this week as the Steelers are taking on the Jets, who have ranked 2nd in passing yards allowed this season. The last time these two matched up was during their rookie year in 2022, and while Gardner was covering Pickens, he only made 2 catches for 9 yards. On top of that, Russell Wilson's going to be under center this week for the Steelers, which might throw off Pickens, who's put together quite a connection with Justin Fields in recent weeks. So due to this uncertainty, it's best to keep Pickens on the bench this week.
My first center pick is going to be Najee Harris. Najee Harris is coming off a phenomenal week last week, having his best week of the season, but he's going up against the Jets defense, who have only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns all season heading into last Monday's game. They also lead the league in most fumbles forced on running backs.
For my final sit-em pick, I'm going to be taking Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta has seen a significant drop-off in his fantasy production this season. Laporta has not received more than 5 targets at any point this season. In his rookie year last year, he exceeded this mark 3 times, only having 1 game below it by week 7. Last week, Laporta had his season-high 12.2 points against Dallas. He only received 1 target in this game, which came in the form of a 52-yard touchdown. That's just not reliable production off of those kinds of targets that you're going to get week to week. This was the lowest amount of targets he's received in his career to this point. It was also his lowest snap count since week 18 last season, where the Lions had already clinched the playoffs, and in that game, he still got 7 targets. With the negative trend in Laporta's production, fantasy managers would be doing themselves right by sitting him this week.
My final sit-em this week is going to be Jacksonville Jaguars tight end Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going up against the New England Patriots this week, who have not allowed a touchdown by a tight end since week 1. He will be in for a tough matchup this week, and hopefully they can get it done against the Patriots.
That's going to do it for our Week 7 Stardom Sit-em picks. Good luck, fantasy owners.